Am I the a-hole for calling out my parents for spoiling my useless brothers? I, 21F, recently had one of the biggest blow-ups with my parents, and honestly, it feels like years of frustration finally poured out of me all at once. It all revolves around my older twin brothers, 24M, who I'll call Shaggy and Scooby. So, here's some backstory. When Shaggy and Scooby were born, there were complications. Because of that, my parents basically wrapped them in bubble wrap and never stopped. They always babied them, coddled them, and shielded them from any sort of responsibility or consequence. They got away with things the rest of us siblings never could. If I got into trouble, I was lectured, grounded, sometimes even screamed at. But if they messed up, excuses were made. They're tired. They're stressed. You don't understand. They've been through so much. It created this huge divide in our family dynamics. Everyone knew they were the golden boys who could do no wrong. And me? I became the outspoken one. I've always been someone who calls things out, who says what others are too scared to say. My family dubbed me the hand grenade thrower, the daughter who always has something to say. It hurt, honestly. Growing up, I was taught to speak up for what's right, but in my house, that just made me the troublemaker. Fast forward to now, I live with my partner, 21F, and about a year ago, my parents insisted that Shaggy and Scooby move in with us.
Why?
Because they got evicted from their last flat after trashing the place. My parents thought living with us, two responsible, clean roommates, would magically straighten them out. Spoiler. It didn't. At first, it was manageable, but soon, everything started sliding downhill. They stopped cleaning. They'd leave dirty dishes piled up in the sink until my girlfriend or I broke down and did them. They dropped clothes everywhere, left food wrappers lying around, never lifted a finger. It felt like we were their maids, not their housemates. But the worst part? The way they treat their pets. Shaggy has 3 cats. He adores them in theory, posts pictures online about being a cat dad. But in reality, he barely takes care of them. Their litter boxes go uncleaned until the smell is unbearable. Sometimes he goes away for weekends and doesn't even refill their food or water bowls. I only notice when I hear them crying, and it breaks my heart. Scooby recently decided to get a dog. Honestly, I begged him not to because he can't even take care of himself, but he didn't listen. And now, this poor dog lives locked in his bedroom most of the day. Scooby never properly potty trained him, so the dog uses puppy pads. But here's the disgusting part. Scooby never throws the used pads away. They pile up until the pee and poop soak through and stain the carpet. The smell seeps through the house. It's vile. And Scooby just shrugs it off. The dog has even developed behavioral issues because of this neglect. He's overprotective of Scooby to the point of aggression. If I walk near Scooby, the dog growls and tries to nip at me. And what does Scooby do?
Laughs.
He thinks it's funny. Now, imagine living in this environment while you and your partner are busting your asses to keep the place livable. My girlfriend and I constantly pick up their slack. It's exhausting. It's created tension in my relationship because the resentment builds and builds. And every time I try to talk to Shaggy and Scooby, they deflect, argue, or, worst of all, run to our parents to tattle on me. They'll say I'm being picky or too harsh. And of course, my parents take their side. When I call my mom or dad crying out of frustration, you'd think they'd back me up, right?
Wrong.
They give me the same excuses they always have. They work full-time, they're exhausted. They don't. They constantly no-show shifts or call in sick, then spend all day gaming. They're old enough now, we can't get involved. Or the worst. Maybe you and your partner should find another flat. Like, seriously? Instead of holding Shaggy and Scooby accountable, they want us to uproot our lives again? I tried so hard to bottle up my frustration, but the final straw came when Scooby's dog pissed and shit all over the lounge room carpet. Scooby ignored it for days.
Days.
The smell, the stains, everything, it was revolting. I spent hours scrubbing, trying to save the carpet, crying out of sheer anger. That was when I snapped. I confronted them and said, "It's not my job to clean up after you. You're adults. If you can't even take care of yourselves or your animals, then I swear I'll call the RSPCA and have them taken away. Those pets don't deserve this." Of course, that sent them into meltdown mode. Both of them cried, played victim, and immediately ran to our parents again. And surprise, surprise, my parents called me furious. They told me I was cruel, that I needed to apologize. That's when all my pent-up anger spilled out. I told them, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you two failed as parents. You babied these boys into being useless. You let them get away with everything, and now they can't do a damn thing for themselves. You don't even realize the damage you've done. They'll never survive in the real world, and one day, when you're gone, they're going to end up on the streets because they've never had to take responsibility for anything. This is your fault. Yeah, it was brutal. I know my words were harsh, but they were the truth. And honestly, I don't regret saying it. The fallout has been rough, though. My parents told me to leave their house when I visited, and since then, it's been 2 weeks of pure silence. I've been excluded from family dinners, gatherings, even casual group texts. They're giving me the silent treatment, something they've weaponized against me my entire life whenever I dare to step out of line. It hurts. It triggers me. It makes me feel like I'm that little girl again, punished for speaking up while my brothers were excused. And I'm just sitting here wondering, am I really the asshole for finally saying what's been obvious for years? My partner and I are actively looking for a new flat, but where we live, housing is scarce and expensive. We're trying, but in the meantime, we're stuck in this toxic mess. So, am I the a-hole? Or was I finally just the only one willing to say what everyone else has been too scared to admit?